Throughout the history of Naruto, there have been many men and women who have each wanted to take up the mantle of being Hokage, but not every person who has had their sights set on achieving this proud and prominent position have actually achieved their goal. For every Minato and Naruto, there was a Kiba or Konohamaru people who share the same goal of becoming Hokage, but they stood absolutely no chance of ever being a serious contender. However, with the character of Sarada Uchiha, we have a very interesting dilemma because she is one of the many people throughout the series who have made the Hokage position her goal to attain. Yet, what's to stop her from joining that long list of Uchiha who have dreamed to become Hokage and fall short? Why should Sarada be any different than any other Uchiha who wanted to be Hokage? Well, grab those ramen bowls and tell your friends to bring a friend for this new Naruto Explain video where we're going to break down exactly why Sarada Uchiha must be Hokage by the end of the series. In order to explain why Sarada must become Hokage, we have to take a look at the major elephant in the room, which is Sarada's lineage as an Uchiha and how that in of itself serves as a major obstacle for Sarada to overcome. To say that the Uchiha and Konoha have a bit of a complicated history is a huge understatement. But if Sarada is ever going to become Hokage, it's something that she's going to have to not only embrace but overcome as well, because the sins of her clan to a degree will be something that she has to atone for. And to understand why, it goes back to a common concept that Naruto as a series has played with when it comes to the various clans, in particular the four noble clans of Konoha, one of which are the Uchiha clan. That concept is the traditional Asian concept of family honor, something super traditional Japanese families adhere to, and in this world of Naruto, the Uchiha, they're no different. Family honor means that everything else comes second to the family unit, to the clan itself. If you have your own selfish desires, it means nothing in the face of your family honor. Your own wants as an individual, they don't matter. Only the family unit. Only the clan itself. Everything you do reflects upon the clan for better or worse. Dishonoring the clan or the family can be something that prevents a relative from getting a promotion, a sibling from being allowed to marry into another clan, and so much more. With the Uchiha, particularly now in this era of Konoha, Sarada has a lot to overcome if she wants to be Hokage. While the Uchiha massacre and the truth behind the massacre is confidential information, there are still those who know the clan's past transgression. There are people such as Shikamaru, who is a former advisor to the Hokage and is now Hokage himself. People such as the feudal lord of the Land of Fire, Madoka Ikkyo, the son of the feudal lord that we saw during the Naruto era. Those two people just happen to have a ton of say when it comes to picking the next Hokage. And for Sarada, the last of the Uchiha and Konoha, she faces that uphill climb because of her clan's inability to balance clan honor with honor of one's country. Madara leaving the village and battling Hashirama Senju is something that we can refer to as being one of the original sins of the Uchiha clan. Madara left because, yes, he was corrupted by the writings on the Uchiha tablet that Zetsu manipulated, but he also left because of his strong sense of honor to his clan. Madara went from being hopeful that the Uchiha would have a bright future in the clan inside of Konoha to getting himself crushed when he overheard Tobirama gossiping to Hashirama about the Uchiha clan drawing power from hatred and how no one in the village would follow Madara even if he was Hokage. Madara wasn't wrong to look at the current makeup of the village and question if things would truly get better for his clan. Hashirama was now the Hokage and would most likely appoint Tobirama as Hokage when the time came, and Madara knew hell would freeze over before Tobirama would appoint an Uchiha to the position of Hokage. Madara joined forces with Hashirama thinking that he was taking his clan to a more peaceful outcome, but the writing he saw on the wall was that his clan would be subjected to rule underneath the Senju clan for at least 3 generations of Hokage, and that led to Madara trying to get his clan to leave. In the years after, other Uchiha like Satsuna Uchiha tried to muster up the support amongst the clan to overthrow Tobirama's Hokage, but that too ultimately failed. Over 2 decades later, Fugaku Uchiha would eventually give in to the demands of members of his clan to plot a coup d'etat against the village, which would be foiled when Itachi would serve as the sword for the village and shed the blood of his clansmen in order to protect it, and walk around with the dishonorable label as a clan killer, so as to ironically protect the honor of the clan by dying at the hands of Sasuke, the lone survivor of the massacre, and ideally taking the Uchiha massacre secret to his grave, thus restoring the honor of the clan on multiple multiple levels. Sarada not only has to overcome all of that, but she now has to overcome the transgressions of her own father, Sasuke, both from his past misdeeds as well as the current misdeeds that he's accused of, one of which is the highest form of dishonor one could be accused of. Sasuke left to align himself with Orochimaru, a terrorist who killed the 4th Kazekage and the 3rd Hokage, only to wear the robes of the Akatsuki when he attacked Killer B, and then acted as a lone wolf, attacking the 5 Kage, killing dozens of samurai, and killing an appointed Hokage in Danzo who was approved by the feudal lord, and starting the war on the side of the Akatsuki. Sasuke still had the gall to openly talk about killing Naruto and then killing the 5 Kage who are helplessly trapped in the infinite Tsukuyomi Genjutsu. Despite all of that, Naruto and Kakashi both went to bat for Sasuke in order to get him pardoned and to be given a second chance at life. When Sasuke saved Boruto in Boruto Naruto Next Generations Chapter 80, it was a slap in the face to Naruto and Kakashi in the eyes of many people in the ninja world. Someone like Sasuke wouldn't normally be allowed to roam free had it not been for Naruto and Kakashi, and he paid back that kindness by assisting not just the Kage killer, but the killer of the very man who put himself out there to get Sasuke freed and would go on to become the 7th Hokage. There is no bigger sign of disrespect than what Sasuke did in the eyes of many, and Sarada, being his daughter, has to overcome that on her path to becoming Hokage. Unfortunately for her, she has to bear the weights and atone for the sins of her father, even though she herself did nothing wrong. But like most things in life, fairness isn't a right guaranteed to every person. It's a privilege that one should cherish if it's given to them. Hence the expression, life isn't fair. For Sarada, her road to becoming Hokage is more difficult than any other Uchiha because Sasuke, with that one action, saving Boruto from being executed, he's now washed away all the goodwill that would have been bestowed upon the Uchiha clan. In the eyes of many, especially those who know the history of the clan, the true history of the clan, he's yet another example of an Uchiha who is unable to set aside their own personal ambitions and attachment to their clan for the more important deeds of the village that they're supposed to be protecting and serving. For that reason, for Sasuke's perceived selfishness, there will be those who look at Sarada and think that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. She is his daughter, and those who know of Fugaku's transgressions will say that she is Fugaku's granddaughter, and there will be questions surrounding if and when she eventually chooses her own selfish desires over the village. And you could argue that her continuing to having chose Boruto and Sasuke, fighting with Shikamaru to delay the execution order, that there will be those who see this and think that she's already walking that path, which makes Shikamaru wanting her hit that much harder now, because those were the words of a man who knows the past of the Uchiha and was trying to give Sarada a hint not to repeat it. However, the beauty of Sarada's situation is that she knows she's in the right, even though the rest of the world can't see it, and we as the audience know, because Kishimoto utilized the writing tool of dramatic irony, where readers know something characters in universe don't know, which in this case is that Boruto didn't kill Naruto, and Sasuke was literally saving innocent people by saving Boruto from an assured death at the hands of an extremely emotional village who is being manipulated. Sarada right now is following in the footsteps of the very Hokage who she aspires to be like, even more so than she realizes. Because while she might know that Naruto was the one who never gave up on Sasuke, even when the rest of the world had been given every reason to give up on him, Sarada, like Naruto, was standing by her perceived view of justice and righteousness. But what Sarada doesn't realize is that by taking this stance, she's showing that she's inherited the will of fire of Naruto Uzumaki that he possesses Hokage. For Sarada, the dream of wanting to be Hokage came from her interacting with Naruto during the events of Naruto Gaiden, the 7th Hokage in the Scarlet Spring, and seeing how much of a calm, sometimes gentle man could actually flip the switch and become extremely powerful when the time came for him to defend those who are around him. That nurturing attention she got from Naruto led to her setting her sights on walking in the footsteps of not her father, but in the footsteps of her father's rival, the 7th Hokage. For Sarada to truly walk in the footsteps of Naruto to the path of Hokage, these current tribulations that she's the underdog and that she's undergoing is needed, because it will both test her resolve to be Hokage, and also show how strongly she inherited Naruto's will of fire that he unknowingly passed down to her during the events of Naruto Gaiden, the 7th Hokage, and the Scarlet Spring. It's easy to look back at those chapters and think that this is just Naruto being Naruto, a big kind-hearted guy who has taken the time out to get to know and protect the children of his friends. But what happened here is a lesson that many of us in the real world learn too late, and some of us never actually learn, which is that we don't ever know when someone's watching us, looking to study us, and molding themselves after what they perceive to be our strengths. And this is especially true of young children, which is, at the time, Sarada was an 11-year-old girl, beginning to enter into some very critical and crucial developmental years, and Naruto imprinted onto her his will of fire, and left behind that strong impression. The way that Naruto as Hokage had a way to make everyone feel safe and like a family is shown a light on Sarada that pointed a girl who, at that point in the story, had no true sense of direction. It gave her a clear path to follow, with each step that she took, having her grow into her future self, who can eventually fill the very footsteps of the man she's walking behind. Sarada withstanding the current trials and tribulations is what will begin the process that is indeed worthy of becoming Hokage, because she is the only one willing to be bearing the brunt of the frustration that is trained at her for this decision to stand by Boruto and Sasuke. Sarada won't ever be the strongest person physically in the village, not when you get people like Boruto, Kawaki, and Damon inside the village. She's lucky if she even stays inside the top 5. But when this is all said and done, the strength of her character is the one thing that will shine the brightest for, because it was that determination to stand on the right side, even when it was the unpopular thing to do, and to do everything she could to keep two innocent people, Boruto and Sasuke, from being executed. That's what will make Sarada vault into the top of the line for the next Hokage position, because part of being a leader is making uncomfortable and questionable decisions, knowing that people won't immediately agree with you, and they might never agree with you, but you know that the decision made is ultimately one that was needed for their own well-being. The day that Naruto's unsealed and the Shinjutsu is reversed, that becomes the day there is no one better suited to be Hokage than Sarada, because she will have earned the strength of her conviction. It also will be putting to rest the long troubled history that plagued the Uchiha clan from a perception perspective, because the daughter of a perceived traitor would have shown that she was able to not only put the village first, but she put the village first even when the village itself didn't know that she was doing so. Overcoming all of this will be enough to do the one thing that Sasuke could never do, which is restore the honor of the Uchiha clan, which is fitting given that Sarada is the first child born of the Uchiha after that cycle of hatred has been broken, and the children she gives birth to in the future will be carrying on that good karma that she has reset by accomplishing this goal. Sarada becoming Hokage truly sends a message that the cycle of hatred is over by having her be the first Uchiha in the history of the clan to be Hokage. Being the leader of a village that for a time had her people disenfranchised sends a strong message of what it is that she had to overcome to get to that point. That layered with the other qualifications that she would have would cement her for the position. By being the student of Konohamaru who, despite all the memes, is actually a powerful shinobi, which I've broken down in my Konohamaru video going over his strength at the end of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. But with Sarada, you have someone trained by the grandson of the 3rd Hokage, who himself was trained by the 1st and 2nd Hokage, and Konohamaru is someone who is directly trained by Ebisu, an elite special Jonin, who had a specialty for teaching shinobi, and Kakashi praised him for that skill when he handed Naruto over to him to train after the Chunin exam. She's the daughter of two of the strongest shinobi to exist in the history of the ninja world, with her father being someone who helped play a role multiple times in saving the entire world from global catastrophe. The only thing truly missing for Sarada at this point in time is her carving out her own defining legacy in battle. So far, the only thing she has going for is that in the manga, she was the one who figured out Boro had been using a microscopic virus, and she was the one who came up with the counter strategy against Boro in the manga, and she was the only one without assistance. She was the one who destroyed Boro's Ninja Tech Core, which reminder, Boruto tagging Boro with the vanished machine gun and opened Boro up for Sarada's attack. That's an anime filler scene that goes in trash since it's irrelevant and it contradicts the manga, but that's the main thing missing from Sarada at this point. a legitimate set of accomplishments on the battlefield where her name stands out amongst her peers. We haven't seen that breakthrough moment for her just yet, which is, I think, the final missing piece. But by the end of the series, I think she'll have all the boxes checked in order to become Hokage. Which brings me to my question to you guys. Do you guys think Sarada will be Hokage, or will the position be pointless by that time comes?